All right. Good evening, everybody. Let's do a brief audio and video check. I know we've been having buffering issues, so always giving it a few minutes to let the buffering and whatever's going on with the YouTube get worked out. Let's hear it. Let's see. I think everything's looking good, sounding good. Let's make sure it's good on my end. Let's see. I think we are. Anyway, let's get to it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach DBA. As always, in the YouTube chat, there is the Topstep risk disclosure. This is for educational purposes only. And yeah, it's not a signals class, but take a look at this. I've been watching the DOM. If anybody's been watching the DOM here on the NASDAQ, we're seeing quite a bit of volatility. We're seeing a lot of orders on the order book. I mean, we do have a lot of news coming in from Japan. Is that correct? Where we have the Bank of Japan rates conference and all that. So we're seeing more volatility than normal tonight. I figured we could start off talking like that. You can see there's over 100 contracts here stacked around these 22,019s. Before that, I seen a couple 100 contracts coming in at the ask, coming in at the bid. There was even one that was like for 300. Look, there's another one coming in at 135. If anybody in the chat knows what the heck is going on, let me know. I'd love to have. This is a night where I'd love to have Coach Jay on with me so he could sit here and watch this as well. But look, they're just chasing this thing down. Look, another big batch just came in at those 13s. The carry trade. Now, this is definitely interesting. Huge move at the end of the day. Yeah, we got that big rally at the end of the day. I'll go over that a little bit later. I just figured we could sit here. We could watch this. Markets come first and always. And it's very interesting to see. Every third word skipping. You might have to refresh. Yeah, 130 sitting at 17. And maybe we could just sit here and watch this throughout the evening and watch this volatility come in. See, there's 100 come in. I don't know if though that 100 got filled at the bid. That was quick. That was really quick. This is definitely interesting. The carry trade barnacle. Ask ChatGPT. Look these orders stacking. So with those 127 contracts at the ask, bring the market down. So look, there's 300. There's 300 sitting there at 13.5. That was the 300 contracts. Did those get filled? Did those get filled? Anybody? What a market tonight. What a market. This is such an interesting thing. I don't want to trade this. Look how thin the order book is, and this is very sporadic. 140 of it got filled. Yeah, this is definitely the big fish stepping in here, trading this market, filling orders. Now, I've seen this question a couple times. Where do these big orders move markets? I mean, they can help sway the market's opinion. And look, there's 180. There's that big order trying to fill the rest of those, I think. It's at 11. They moved it down just a moment. Did you see that? Did they just move it down? Look, they're moving it down a little bit more. This is quite the entertainment. Look, they just moved it down to 010. Now they moved it to 09. Someone's messing with us. Who is that? That's probably I don't know. This is interesting. Manipulation, pure games. It sure is something. Is it spoofing if they get filled? They're trying to get a better price, it looks like. Whoever it is, they feel like they could get a better price. It's whack-a-mole. Okay, let's see. I think they got filled. There's still those orders sitting up in the teens. Pretty sure. Let's see. Anybody? Did they get filled? Only spoofing if intentionally trying to not get filled. Is that level 2 on? Yeah, this is level 2, where you can see the bids and offers. And these are some decent sized orders coming in tonight. Absolutely amazing. Maybe it's Dobie. Dobie's in here. But yeah, look at this volatility. From where we opened, you can see let's just go through this. I'll keep this DOM up. Everybody in the chat, you can keep an eye on these orders. Some interesting big orders coming in through these markets in the NASDAQ. But let's get to it tonight. It's going to be entertaining to keep an eye on this market. But let's take a look at the daily. The daily chart, we've had such a rally. We've had such a rally over the past few weeks. Or a few days, week and a half, basically. And today was not any different. We kind of got a little bit of a consolidation type day today. It was a great trade. I had one trade. I did post it on the Twitterverse. It worked out really well. But as we start to zoom in, we can see this big sell-off that we had. We sold off. This is what really enticed me. Like, there's a lot of consolidation. This is an hourly chart. The Nikkei is going around. We'll jump over to the Nikkei real fast in just a moment. So this is an hourly chart on the NASDAQ. And this is what really got me excited. We came down to this level. Who remembers last night? What level was I talking about? What level was I looking for? Sure enough, you could watch it. These are all recorded. This was the zone that I was looking for the NASDAQ to pull back to. Now, remember, it is just a zone. It is just a zone. And let's see. Yeah, this is basically a textbook trade here in. Okay, you know what? I'm switching. I'm getting distracted. Come on, guys. I thought you said the Nikkei was going crazy. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This is an hourly chart on the NASDAQ, and this is the zone I was looking for last night. Well, we got it. We got that zone. We consolidated here for like, 5-6 hours, and throughout most of the London session. And then during the New York session, we got a little bit of chop. We got a lot of chop in the New York session, and obviously the buy the dip, right? This is beautiful example of what buy the dip looks like. This is what I look for. It was a dip right to that area of support. It's been acting as support for a while. So this was one of the most simplest trades that I've had for a very long time. We pull back. We look for an area to buy the dip. Look, there's that 100 contract coming in near the bid right there at 0375. And sure enough, we was off to the races. Now, markets do not just go straight up. Sometimes it will test your patience. And as you can see over here on the 5-minute chart, and you could see this pretty clear and obvious from when we opened up and throughout most of the New York session, there was a lot of consolidation right there. You can see this consolidation. This was the same consolidation on the 1-hour chart where we finally broke through. There was a lot of chop throughout most of the New York session in the morning where we finally had one pullback, and then we started to make higher lows. We continued to make these higher lows, and if you've seen when I posted, I got into this trade right around here. I think I got filled at 040 or 942. 942 is where I got filled. So I got filled around here. I had my stop loss set at the bottom of that pivot, and I was targeting up here at these 006s. So this was basically my trade for the New York session. I got filled around 042, and my stop loss was here just below this pivot, I believe. It was either this pivot or maybe even this pivot. It was a decent trade. I can't remember. You'll have to take a look at Twitter on that one. But yeah, we rallied, and sure enough, we got that rally into power hour. It's funny how the market just waited for the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes of the day, we just broke through. Like that was what, 80 points in 10 minutes, 90 points in 10 minutes. The house account caught it too. The house account caught it. It was awesome to watch. If you guys missed it, it was on Power Hour and on TopstepTV. The last 10 minutes, Hoag and the team caught this huge rally. They caught it more than I did, right? So that was interesting to see. Buyers stepping in. It was buy the dip kind of day. But yeah, here we are again, and we have news coming out tonight. So there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of, obviously, volatility that we're seeing, but I think it's more of the same. I'm looking for this market to continue rallying. It's going to be interesting to see if we can come back up here towards these highs. Are we going to test it? Are we going to break through this? And if we do break through it, that's what we're wanting. Remember Coach Jay, last night when we were talking, we were looking for some type of a pullback. We got it, and just like a trampoline, we go down before we could go up, gain some momentum, make that higher low, make that support, or maybe we make some type of a flagging pattern. Maybe we run into something like this, and then we don't make a move until tomorrow afternoon, maybe even Monday. Tomorrow is Friday. This is Friday's price action, so that is something to be aware of as well. And yeah, we're kind of right in the middle of this move. And I want to see better market structure. Maybe we get a decent pullback. I would be okay if we get a pullback down to these 960s, 970s, and then look for that type of rally. So maybe something like this, maybe a pullback to this level of support and resistance that we broke through during power hour is what I would prefer. But yeah, we're going to see what happens tonight. We're getting a lot of movement. And Coach Jay, if you're still here, have you been watching that this DOM? Have you been watching the order flow? I know you watch it. I know you pay attention to it, but we've been seeing big orders come through since I started slow markets. And before I started slow markets, I seen a couple contracts come in for 300. And I mean, you could take a look. There's still orders stacked. There's about 100 sitting there in the 19s, 130 sitting at 17, 50 at 13, 125 sitting at 06s. And yeah, there was a few times where 300 contracts came in at the bid. And then instead of chasing the market, it was actually, kind of running away from the market a little bit. If you guys at the beginning of class, you've seen that 300 contracts come in, half of them got filled, and then the 150, it started at like 11s, then they brought it back down to 10s, then 9s, and then I think it finally got filled. That was very interesting to watch. Now, what does it mean? I have no freaking idea. I have no idea what this means. Are these people closing positions, right? Are they closing these positions? Are they opening new positions? Are they hedging? I mean, against their like NASDAQ position? You never know, right? We have the Bank of Japan rate decision tonight. I mean, who knows? Who knows, to be honest? Certainly not me. I do not. The elephant candle on the 15-minute is scary. I'm not sure what you mean by the elephant candle. Trump going to speak pre-recorded? I don't know. I think one market that we're going to be watching a lot tonight is going to be the Nikkei. The Nikkei is going to be the market to watch. We're going to see a lot of, this is the Japanese market with an interest rate decision and all of this news coming out tonight coming from Japan, right? Bank of Japan. We can see some very big movements in the Nikkei tonight. We're already seeing quite a bit of movement, right? There's 0.75% up. I mean, just as I was been talking, we're about 0.5% down. So yeah, we could see some big movements in the Nikkei tonight. That is for sure. I mean, plus or minus 2% is definitely not out of question. It's just pretty curious to see these big orders coming through on the NASDAQ, to be honest. I don't remember the last time we've seen orders like this come through. Even during rollover, I don't see a lot of big orders like this. At this time of night, right? At this time of night, not during slow markets. Usually these types of orders are done during the last hour of the New York session, or the first hour of the New York session, or sometimes during the New York session. Big order on the ES as well. We can take a look at the ES. Yeah, that's a decent sized order on the ES, right? Hundreds, 250. But 250 is not too big on the ES, right? I mean, it's just what, 3x the random, 4x the typical bid, typical ask. But then when you compare that to like the NASDAQ in size comparison, I mean, 100 contracts compared to what we're used to seeing here, and that's single digits, is huge. Position tomorrow most likely short covering, but I mean we seen a 300 contract come in at the on the bid, right? So that's not short covering. You know, the big size on buying. Bank of Japan in 113. So what I've learned with the Bank of Japan in this type of news, they say tentative for a reason, right? It's tentative for a reason. They kind of release it whenever they want to. That's my experience. That's my understanding. Maybe they have a set exact time and I just don't know that. But sometimes I was expecting it to come out exactly like here it does in the US, like exactly at the time. Not a second later or a second earlier, and then sometimes I'm just waiting, and then it just randomly gets put out there. So not sure. Maybe somebody, I'm sure there's somebody here in the chat that knows more than I do about when they release that information. Dakota, do you think you will look for a Nikkei trade tonight? JP, no, I will not. I will not be looking for a Nikkei trade tonight. Nope. I'm going to watch the markets. I don't want to be in a position when that news hits. Christy, I show Bank of Japan at 21 even. Okay. Is that Eastern, Central, Mountain? What? Depending on the time zone. Daniel Lee, I was thinking that, right? If you guys know, this pattern can happen, right? This funny looking Batman pattern where we joke about this Batman pattern. It happens sometimes. This is not the best Batman pattern, but yeah, this is if we do start to sell off, I mean that would come to fruition, right? I don't know where the last one was, but it's I don't know. It's not an actual technical pattern. It's just something I've seen. I don't remember the last time I seen it though. It does show itself every once in a while. Central Standard Time, okay. Is this a bearish or a bullish pattern? I don't know. Where have I seen it before? Is there an example? There's probably a few examples of this. In 1 hour? Oh. Took your first payout with Topstep. Great job, Zach. I've been seeing a lot of traders taking payouts lately. Love to see it. Let's get to some questions. I'm just going through the... I don't think there's too much going on tonight. I mean, we could take a look at these other markets. I mean, let's take a look at crude. Crude oil's selling off. It's selling off. Coach Jay and I was talking about this last night, looking for $74 a barrel. We're actually getting there pretty quick. Continuing to sell off. I mean, we got to $74 a barrel. I mean, this market's heavy. It's just a situation where Any rally, that's probably a selling opportunity. Probably. You never know for sure. But if we do get another rally, maybe we get a rally up to 75.50, maybe these lower 75s, right? So this is resistance. Or this was support. Support became resistance. Maybe we look for the same thing. This was support. Maybe we could find support become resistance. I mean, it's hard to be long crude oil right now. It was looking like buy the dip, but remember, whenever you transition, we have the fundamentals. Technically, this might look for being a buying opportunity. It looks great for, technical buying opportunity, right? We're coming down to a key level of maybe a support and resistance. This is a decent key level for support and resistance. But with the fact what's going on with the news and the new presidency, maybe there is something that technicals might not mean as much to crude oil. I don't know. I mean, technicals are technicals. If we do bounce in this zone and we maybe we get up to 75.50, that could be something. But I'm having a hard time finding a buy and getting in long crude oil with what's going on from the fundamental standpoint, right? And the political standpoint, where crude oil is very sensitive to any headlines. Let's take a look at gold. It's probably the same thing for gold, right? We're continuing to buy the dip. Is that true? Yes, we continue to buy the dip. Nothing has changed in gold. Absolutely nothing, right? We're continuing to make these higher lows. We're continuing to make these higher lows. I mean, nothing has changed. The trend is your friend. This has been a very simple and straightforward market to trade. Higher lows, higher highs. Now it looks like gold's going to be on its way to possibly make a higher high. I mean, why not, right? Maybe we could come up here and see this level of 2,800, maybe 2790s. That could be a possibility, but why not? I don't see this trend changing yet. It's been buy the dip here on gold. I don't want to be short. I want to look for opportunities to buy on gold. Let's see. I always want to keep watching the Nikkei and the NASDAQ. Nikkei are we bouncing? We're bouncing now. Yeah, so much volatility here. Look at this. Look at that volatility. It's kind of feels, you don't want to be in it. You don't want to be I definitely do not want to be trading in a position. We still have 100 contracts sitting right there at 750. Okay, let's get to some of these questions. Whether they're questions or we could just have good conversation, I don't really care. Would this be a double top on the NASDAQ? Sure. Oh, did you see that? Did anybody see that? Was there 150 contracts? Did that get filled? Is that? You have to let me know. You guys got to keep an eye on that. Every time I look away, I get a glimpse. Coach Jay, yes. At 8.25, 157 got filled. Less than 120, 105. Okay, there was a lot. There was a lot of them that probably got filled. Then it looks like this is it. Every time I'm looking, I just see a big order flash right there. Financial warfare. It sure is something. But going back to that question, is this a double top? Some people might look at this and say it's a double top. However, I would much rather have this high come up a little bit higher, right? I'd rather have it be testing up here again. This is a little bit lower. I would consider this now obvious, a lower high. And then now we're kind of making a little bit of a flagging pattern, maybe something like this. It's hard, I'm sure, with the Bank of Japan news coming out. This doesn't mean too much. But if we do break through this, maybe we could see a run back down to towards like these 970s. We're kind of hovering just above 22,000. Dorito. Now let's go through. Sorry if I missed some of your guys' questions. Dakota, can you show spreadsheet on how to build a 50 XFA account? I feel like a lot of people in here would benefit. I don't have any spreadsheet on how to build an account. It depends on how you trade, right? It's more about trading smaller and trading consistent, following the process over your profits. Process over profits. Shout out to Pop Squad. Yeah, so I did get confirmation, everybody. I did get confirmation that the 31st, I'm going to be on TopstepTV, the 31st, which I believe it's a Friday. Let's see. If you guys are interested, oh, come on. Did it not get pulled up? The 31st, which is, it's, for some reason, it's not loading. Let's see. Please talk more about gold. Just buy the dip. That's all it's really been. I'll go through it. Don't spam the chat. If you spam the chat, then no. Yes. Exactly. I just got the notification right here. So Friday, the 31st, which is next week, is I'm going to be on Fast Markets. And then we're doing the Pop Squad draft. That is, I believe, when we're going to be doing that Pop Squad draft. I'm excited. That's going to be a fun one. There's 100 coming in at the bid. Is that on your birthday? I mean, if you guys have put in for it, I mean, that's when it's going to be, Friday. It's the Pop Squad draft. I'm super excited. I don't get to choose. You have to tune in. I'm excited. I'm going to be there. Coach Hoop, yours is Tuesday. Okay, they do one, I think they're doing it every single day next week. Top Step's doing it every single day next week. It's going to be a good one. Is that 100 lot spoofing? I don't know. I'm seeing these Coach Jay and the chat saying these big orders. A lot of them's getting filled, and so when these orders are getting filled, I mean, I would say no, that's not spoofing. If these orders are getting filled. Mo, I'm sure. Yeah, you'll find out. If you tune into the Topstep TV Monday morning, they'll continue to explain the details. The buy at the end of the day was institutional. They're short covering. I think it was a mix of both, Richard. I believe that there was plenty of short covering and there was new positions added at the end of the day. All of this, I truly do not believe this was pure 100% short covering. I believe this is a lot of this is, new positions, right? There's probably plenty of new positions that came in. Maybe a mix of both. Are you live trading right now? Chris Hansen, if there is a decent setup, I will be getting in a trade on my live account. I do have my live account. It's always here, queued up, ready to go. We do have the Bank of Japan news coming out, and so I don't want to be in a position when it comes out. A lot of my live trading and my trades in my live account at this time is for overnight trades, which means I'll get into a trade or I'll put an order in. I'll put, I don't want to get into two sessions. Let's make sure they go. So I'll put an order in, a pending order, limit order, buy stop order, and then I'll let it go overnight. And it's typically on higher time frames, like an hourly, and the setup is to hold that trade. I mean, technically it's my overnight. We do have traders from around the world. It might be throughout your day, like into the London session, and again throughout the early New York session. But since we have the Bank of Japan news, I do not want to have any pending trades. I don't want to have any trades on the books. I don't want to be in a position with that news coming out, because we could see some crazy volatility, and we're seeing some weird orders coming in the books. And so the price action right now is acting, to me, irrational. I see this market, and to me, I'm seeing these orders. There's no rhyme or reason from my understanding. Technicals are kind of out the door. I mean, we've seen this, 30-point bounce followed by a 30-point sell-off, and we've seeing hundreds of contracts come through at the bid and the ask. And yeah, I don't want to be in any live position probably until, gonna be honest, probably till tomorrow morning. Login screen had simulation panel. Yeah, go log in. You could log into a sim account, or you could log into a live, right? I could log into my live or my simulated. So I go into my simulated, my practice account, or I could come in here, I could log in, and I could get into my live account. You know what? I'm getting a lot of these questions about how to grow a 50K account. Should I just do a lesson? Look, there's 100 lots. There's 100 lots coming in again at 0.1225. Maybe I try and do it, because the way I would grow an account might be different than anybody else, because it's, oh wow, there you go. There's that. Did anybody see that one? That was. And now there's the 120, the 100, 130. No, I think there was 200 that came in at the ask. There's 200 that came in at the ask. Now that 100 lot's chasing. That 113 lot is chasing. Yeah, see him chasing? Whoever that is, it was there. It's at 15. Let's see if they keep chasing this market. Now it's at 16.5. Oh, there's 120 at the ask. Oh, okay. This is getting wild, everybody. I have not seen this price action for a very long time. I mean, I don't remember seeing this. Where's Hoag at? Wake Hoag up. Every once in a while, I see the like 200 contracts just come in. This is why I don't want to be in a trade. No. What, how would you trade this? How in the heck? Coach Jay, are there any that's getting filled? Do you want to join me, Coach Jay? You could always hop in here if you want. I honestly would love that comment. Love your commentary and the details on your end while we're seeing this. It could be one of those where we could ask for forgiveness later. I think the correct answer is you don't trade this. That's the best way. Coach Jay's. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. We're doing an audible. I'm sure they don't mind. I'm sure that they will not mind. The team, we're getting Coach Jay on. Let's get this. I'm gonna get things set up real quick. I've became really good at getting this set up on the back end. I could run it. I could run it really fast, actually. There we go. Let me get everything set up on my end. Give me just 1 second. Practice account for these days? Yeah. All right. All right, Jay. It's the same links. Let me know. See, I just seen the 100 contracts just come in at the ask on that one again. Are these getting filled? There's 100 still. There's another 100. This is absolutely insane. I'm having fun with gold. We're watching this NASDAQ price action because I have not seen anything like this for a while, and it's such an interesting thing to see. Lito, wouldn't you see a huge spike if they got filled? No, you would not. So this answers the question where traders would ask me like, well, wouldn't the 100 contracts sitting there move the market? And the answer for me is no. Is when you see a big order come in, those are limit orders. Those are limit orders. Like that 100 contracts right there, that's a limit order. That technically does not move the market. The only type of order that moves the market would be a market order. A market order. Limit orders do not do nothing. The only thing that's moving this price is market buyers, market sellers, right? If there's like 1,000 contracts just sitting there, all buy limits, that will do nothing, right? It might like FOMO, right? Like it might entice traders so that like see that 100 contracts just moved right up again, and it might entice traders. Let's see, to buy or sell. Let's see if I can bring in Coach J. Hold on for 1 second. All right. Okay, let's bring Coach J in. All right, there you go, Jay. Let's do an audio check with you.
Check, quick. Check. Can you hear me, Dakota?
Yeah, you look good, sound good on my end. And
awesome.
Hey, nice hoodie.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thanks for hopping in. I know it was a last minute thing, but while I get everything else set up, we could just stick it to my charts for just a moment while I get your charts set up.
Yep. I'll share them to you in a second. Yeah, I normally wouldn't jump in like this, but something is going on here, right? We know, Bank of Japan rate decision is coming out in a couple of minutes here, and seeing this kind of size get traded at this time of night, we didn't see this during the New York session at all.
No.
And traders are asking, why is it interesting now? Because this type of size trading at this time of night is very unusual, right? We saw how big of an effect the Bank of Japan rate decision had in July and in August. So this could be very big for the markets here, and across a couple of different markets, in the metals, in the equities. So will be interesting whenever that rate decision comes out.
Yeah, let's see if we get your charts. So, have you seen anything like this at this time?
Anytime there's news, anytime there's big news out, right? With the last rate decision, sometimes around, we saw it maybe a little bit last week during, the inauguration and things like that. But let's see, it looks like the book is thinning out a little bit here. Should be. Let me share my charts with you. Give me 1 second, Dakota.
Yeah, go ahead. Because these are not just spoofing from what I'm able to tell. I know you look at it a lot more in depth, like the time and sells, but I'm seeing a lot of these orders just getting filled.
They're getting filled. Yeah, they're getting filled. Sometimes traders look at it as spoofing because the order goes out there and then it disappears. If you think about it, what might be happening here? Somebody's trying to trade 100 lots, right? And they're moving them around, but we're seeing them stay out there on the books. And Douglas PC called it out, right? They started off at 22,000, couldn't get filled. And if you need to trade 100 lot and you want it to get filled before whatever this rate decision is, you might have to pay up a little bit. And that's what we're seeing. And that's why I think we're seeing the orders get moved around. It's funny because you see them push up on the bid, and then sometimes there's a quick flash on the ask. I think you just saw one, 100 lot on the bid, push up, get filled, and then immediately go offered for 200 lots, a tick above it. Interesting stuff. Again, whenever this rate decision drops, these markets are going to move a lot.
I know. When was it? I think it was Wednesday, right? Where right at the end of Power Hour, or right at the end of Power Hour, we seen that same thing happen. There was like 100 or 200 contracts, and you've seen them chase it up. Like here's 100 contracts sitting at 19 and a quarter, and they just move it down. Now they're feeling like they're continuing to move it down, and now I think they just got filled. So that's where, like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we could get a better price, and then the market goes towards them, and they maybe move it down a little bit further. Like maybe we get a little bit better of a price, and they keep doing that until it gets filled. Correct?
Yeah. Pretty much. I'm watching time and sales on Quant Tower on the side. So I just shared my screens with you. But watching time and sales, just kind of looking at what happens. I think you're making a really good decision not trading in the live account right now, because whatever happens, it feels like it's going to be big, and it could be a big move. But you could also trade after the decision.
Yeah, there we go. There's your charts up right there, Coach Jay. Yeah, and the rate decision's tentative, and I know it's not. I've seen some of the decisions that Japan makes. It's not always on time. Someone's saying 17 minutes. It says tentative. We're gonna find out together if it's really gonna be on 17 minutes or not. New high in the Nikkei.
Interesting comment here from Mo. Bank of Japan expected to raise rates to 0.5%, the biggest hike since 2017. So could be significant.
That would be significant. Yeah, I'm watching the Nikkei push new highs. Like these are big moves in the Nikkei too. These are like 0.5% moves that we're seeing. Yeah, this is decent size all around. I still have your chart open. I mean, you're the. How would you trade this? Would you ever trade this? Would you ever try and just practice trading it in a practice account? Is there any opportunities in this type of stuff? Because I tell traders all the time, like there's always opportunities in volatility, and us as day traders, we like to trade volatility. We want that volatility. Well, here it is, right? We're seeing a lot of this volatility. Is there a right kind of volatility right now?
So it's funny, the way I learned to read the tape, the group that I learned from, they actually never paid attention to the news, and we would actually get pretty upset when people mention the news, right? Because of the way news can kind of force you to make an opinion. Pull up gold. Let's see about it. So they would just read the order flow, right? It's okay. I could either try to determine what the news is saying, or just gold is just pushing right now.
Yeah, man.
You could do one of two things, right? You could read the order flow, and whoever's trading 100 lots knows a lot more about the news than I do. Right? So you could just say, hey, I'm going to ignore whatever the headline is, follow the order flow. And if they're buying, then I'm buying, right? Mm-hmm. If we're seeing 100 lot chase, you can get in front of it and just try to go with them. Because if they're comfortable enough to trade that size, they might know something, right? So you could just look at the flows. If someone wants to trade it and see what it's like, and you're nervous about trading in a funded account, put it on in a practice account, in a combine maybe. Don't try to trade a whole bunch of size, but the markets are moving, right? And like you said, we love volatility, and this is what they're giving us. Gold looks like it wants an all-time high.
Yeah, I wanted to keep going. I mean, it's been, like I was saying before I had you join, buy the dip, right? It's been buy the dip. We're continuing to make higher lows, and we just made a higher high. I'm enjoying it. I bought 10 ounces of gold bullion when we were chopping around 2660s. So I guess
nice trade.
I'm invested. Is it a trade? Well, they charge me a premium when you buy that stuff.
Right. Looking at this 22 100 area in the NASDAQ. If we push up here. But yeah, you could definitely be trading this. I would not. Okay, so we just got a huge spike of volume in the NASDAQ.
Holy cow. Yeah, we blew through that. That was insane. Look at this. I zoomed into a 1-minute chart, but this is big of a move as we are getting. You go out in power at the end of power hour right there.
Yep.
So no, those moves are. And let me ask you this question. I know it's the same, but how would you word it? Do limit orders move the markets? I mean, you've seen it in chat a few times. I mean, that's always, I've got that question a lot, right? Where they see these big orders coming through and they're like, well, do they move the markets? It's like, well, technically, no. If you see a 400 contract come in at one of these prices, it's not moving the market. It might move it psychologically, whereas traders will see it and they might jump in
Might
with
push
a
it
market
around.
order, right? But those orders themselves do not move the market. Only if a market order, right? If someone comes in and buys 100 or 300 contracts, then it will fill the next 300 contracts available.
Exactly.
Which we might have just seen that.
Limit orders can push the market around, right? We see it sometimes where there's enough size out there where the market gets scared of it and runs away from it. But you need market orders to go get filled, right? If I have 1,000 contracts and no one wants to trade them, then the markets aren't going to move to my price. Now I could, this thing is going to run. We're just saying a bunch of orders just get filled here. And market order buys. So maybe some stops are going off, new buyers coming in, whatever it is. Really interesting in gold. I don't know if you guys caught Hoag talking about gold during lunchbox trading today with JD, but he said similar trade to what he saw in 2022 in gold, where we had a 220-point move. There was a ton of negative delta in gold, which means market sellers, but the price kept going up. If you're a seller and you're holding onto that position and the price keeps going up, eventually you become a buyer. And that's what Hoag has been tracking. He's been tracking, it's crazy. He's been tracking the delta numbers in a couple of different markets every day for like the past 3 years. And then he looked over his data and he saw something very similar in gold 3 years ago now. And he's expecting a pretty big move. Now, of course, anything can happen. But if we look at these charts, technically, it looks like it wants to do exactly that, wants to break out. We're less than 2% from an all-time high. 28.26 is the all-time high in gold on this contract, and we are less than 2% away. So let's see. If anyone sees anything on that rate decision, let us know.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes peeled as well. Coach Hoop said these were the last Bank of Japan ladders I took a screenshot of when last time we were on. Interesting. Okay.
Trade a micro.
So there were some big orders coming in last time. The Coach Hoop sent me some screenshots of like the ES. There's almost 2,000 orders. Here's this one where there's 2,000 contracts right there in the ES, and he's saying like this is the same time of night the last time it came. So this sounds like it's relatively going par with the Bank of Japan.
What we're seeing.
And what we're seeing then.
We got people in the chat saying, I couldn't resist. I had to trade it. The markets are moving, right? We're never going to fault you for doing that. Make sure you have a stop in, right? Especially with tentative news. We don't know when it's going to come out. Same thing with, trading around. Any tweet can move the markets. It's okay to trade. You don't want to be that hesitant where you're never placing a trade because of the potential of a headline dropping, but just have a stop. Don't over leverage. And there's a ton of opportunity here.
Yeah, did that 100 contract just get filled at the ask sell?
Let's see. I don't see any. The last 100 lot I see was down at, what price is that?
Okay. It must have just flashed it then.
Yep.
Someone's saying Trump is talking.
I would rather not have to use tariffs on China.
I'd rather not. The tariffs are already high, Coach Jay. Some of the stuff that we import, like I've worked in supply chain, for example, cardboard's like 25% duties on top of what's already there, and that's on the lower end, depending on what you're working with.
25%.
Yeah, and that's on the lower end. Like some is high, really, really high. Some tariffs.
Getting a little bit of a pullback here. So if I was going to trade this, right? If I was going to trade the NASDAQ, we just saw a push up into 2250, right? If I'm looking to trade this to the long side, I know that there's some buyers up here above 2250. I would be looking for a pullback maybe to this 2230-ish level. Because that's where we just saw that big burst of buying coming in. Maybe that was some stops going off, but a little bit of a pullback where I'm not buying the high here lets me know at least there's some buyers above where I am right now, or where I'd be looking to get in. Let's see. I'm trading this in a combine. I may take a trade, just small size. Actually, we might even just go down to micros.
Yeah.
Not seeing anything on a decision yet.
Not yet. Someone said supposedly 7 more minutes, but everything I've seen it says tentative. So I don't have my hopes up of exactly when it's going to come out. And when I see tentative, it's usually like maybe just whenever they feel like it.
Yeah. I think there was one time we just extended the class, right? We went maybe a half hour afterwards just to look for to wait for that
yeah, and it still didn't come out until another hour, right?
Right.
They gotta wait until their positions are filled, and then then
Yep.
throw out the news.
It's like, all right, perfect. I'm long 2,000 lots. Let's go.
Yeah, they finally filled up their
Drop
bag.
the bomb.
Yep. Man, what we need to do is we need to have a watch party the next time this happens at night. We could well, we'll have to do it. We gotta bring some popcorn out, hang out
Yeah,
for a little
I'm
bit.
with it. And
Go ahead.
whatever side we see those orders getting filled, because you started calling out some of those 100 lots down at 22,000 evens. It's a 50-point move there. It's a pretty nice trade. Again, tentative news, so you don't know, but someone's trading 100 lots. So next time I'm going to take a micro and trade in front of them and then get the popcorn.
Okay, let's do it. Let's plan it. I'll talk to Danielle and the team and say the next Bank of Japan rate decision or big news event, we'll have a nice watch party. We could watch the markets. We could talk. Maybe there's a Lakers game on or something going on, and we can enjoy ourselves. But it's been interesting. It seems like it started to settle down now. No, it's not. There's still 120 sitting there at 0.45. It's not as crazy as it was.
Definitely slowed down. Right after we got that kind of pop that we both saw, right above those 30s, it slowed down a little bit there.
$50 lots in the house account. We need to do that one of these days. I'm going to be honest, Coach Jay. I feel like the house account has really ironed out the process. Every single time I look at the house account, it's been green. Maybe I'm just looking at it at like just the right times, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I haven't seen any bad trades. I haven't seen any red in the house account. The process is smoothed out really well. It's not as clunky as it was of when to get in, when to get out, what trade to take, what trade not to take. And it's been absolutely amazing. So I'm definitely going to be giving Hoag and the team a shout out tomorrow when I'm on tomorrow morning for fast markets, because Hoag definitely deserves it. And I seen them where Hoag he knows, man. He just knows, like, okay, that's where the stop loss is. I'm gonna just have it a few ticks under, and sure enough, he caught that whole thing.
It works.
It works.
Yeah, that was a great trade today.
Yeah,
it's funny. I was actually talking to Hoag a little bit today also, and I think we're all kind of learning. Got another 100 lot here at 29.
39.
Was that 29? 39 half. 39 quarter. But we're all kind of learning how each other trades too. And I was talking to Hoag today about that, and he was just like, next time we're on air together, and we see some clean trades, let's just lean into them, right? Where, like you said, we're figuring this process out. It's taken a while, but I think we're getting close. We're getting really close.
Yeah, I could see it. Feels like the end of the year we're gonna go right back to those bigger sizes, and I mean, could you imagine hitting one of these 60-point bangers with 50 contracts, right?
Right.
25K plus. It's not too difficult. It's just as long as we have the correct process in place, those trades would happen. It's not going to be forced. It's not going to be every single trade, but I mean, we've seen it today during Power Hour, and when we see stuff like this tonight, I mean, there's definitely opportunities. I don't know about before a big news event, but yeah, trusting the process, knowing how each other trades, and everything.
Yeah. I really like what we did the other day when we were on Fast Markets, where we started to build into a position. I think if we're going to trade that kind of size, that's what we need to do, right? Find a zone that we want to accumulate a position in, and allow it to go from there. Makes it a lot easier than just saying, hey, let's pick a price and put 50 on that price.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm still seeing some big orders come through. I mean, there's 50 contracts and 20s. Like, this is much bigger than we typically see. What's the news? Gary says it's we have the Bank of Japan news coming out. I'm believing it's tentative, but some traders in the chat are reporting it's coming out in 1 minute.
Let's see. Just remember, if you have a position on right now, the markets are probably going to move around a ton whenever this rate decision drops. So have an idea of where you want to get out. Try not to be over leveraged into this. Give your account a chance to survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's some other news, right, where like that's coming out a little bit, where it's saying, I'd rather not have to use tariffs over China. I mean, you could go through and read this. Trump prefers to avoid using tariffs over China. Some of this other stuff. Hopes to lead negotiations settling UK conflict. Trump threatens massive tariffs and sanctions against Russia if war continues. So lots of news is also, or Trump's comments is continuing to bring the volatility after trading hours. Twice this week, right? We had it on Monday where the market sold off like crazy, and now here we are. And again tonight, right before some nice news.
It's funny because, well, I guess this is a pre-recorded interview that they're playing right now. But there was a trader during the daytime show. They were just like, "Oh, Trump is talking." I was just like, is there a time where he's not talking? Where it seems like, since the inauguration, there's just been comments all the time. And again, you can't be scared to trade around that, because it's like you might never take a trade for 4 years.
The market's just going to be like each spike, when Trump does an interview.
Right. So we got a little bit of that pullback down to 35s. So I'm looking at that. Let me switch over to the NASDAQ real quick. I'm looking at this 3-minute candle. This is the one that Dakota and I both kind of called out. Hey, there was a big spike of volume that came in there. That is the heaviest positive delta 3-minute candle. And what that means is market order buys. That candle is positive 350 delta in this 3-minute candle alone. Just for comparison purposes, I'm looking at the rest of the New York session today, and that would have been some of the biggest positive delta we saw all day today. So watching how the market trades around this range, 22.029 at the lows and 22.58 at the highs, will be pretty interesting.
That is interesting. Talking about delta, I mean, I think a good example of that I seen today, what was so impressive was Hoag holding that long during Power Hour.
Oh
Like
yeah, squeeze them.
he was squeezing him, and he's like, these guys are like, he could see everybody selling into it, right? And he's just like,
Yep.
keep on squeezing, and people kept selling into the breakout at the end of the New York session, and Hoag just kept holding and holding all the way into those 30s. And I'm like, no way. And I'm over here taking profit as we break through 22,000, and Hoag held it, man. That was beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes when you see that and you're just like, if you think about how other market participants are positioned, and thinking maybe they're day traders, what do we all do if we are a day trader at the end of the day, you got to close your position. So if everyone is short, you got to get out. You don't get out by selling more.
And I mean, I was closing for profit, right? Which I was selling, right. So I was part of those, right? Selling into that. That was interesting. It was definitely a sight to behold, for sure. Things have kind of quieted down. I kind of seen that. I mean, the 30-minute mark has came and gone. It's kind of what I was expecting. I know traders might look at different things, saying that Bank of Japan rate statement comes out at this time, that time. But from what I'm seeing from my experience, it says tentative, right? And we could see it right there. It says tentative, tentative, tentative. Do we know exactly when it's going to come out? And I don't know. Is there some type of history that says exactly when it comes out? I don't know.
Don't think so. Like you said, we'll probably see it after the fact. Are we building a little bit of a flagging pattern here? Saw someone kind of mention that in the chat. Maybe on a 5-minute, 3-minute. Somewhat. Yeah, I think we consolidate in this range until that rate decision comes out, right? 29s at the lows, 58 at the highs. As like Dakota said, we have seen that volume kind of slow down a little bit. They got all the orders they needed filled, and now we just wait.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd time to get them all filled, though. Well, I'm so curious on why they didn't fill them during the New York session, or they didn't fill them earlier, and they were waiting for something, I guess. Timing, maybe the Asian market open, maybe it's not U.S. participants, right? Maybe they're overseas participants, like easily a Bank of Japan, or who knows who's filling these orders. And those are sometimes the things that you want, like you always wonder. It'd be so interesting to just know, like,
just sit at the desk with them.
Yeah, just like, who was that? Like, who was there putting on 300 contracts? Like, was this some random hedge fund in Japan, or like, who knows? It'd be so curious to see that. It's some guy in his mom's basement, building algo
with a lot with some big pockets.
Flash crash. Yeah. Yep, could be. But it doesn't matter. It does not.
Birdman asks, what does spoofing mean? So spoofing is going to be, kind of flashing orders at a high rate without the intention of getting filled, right? If I keep putting 100 lot out there and, placing the order, canceling it. It's not something I worry about too much, right? Traders all the time say, hey, okay, we're seeing some orders come out here again.
Yeah,
but it's like, does it make sense to read the depth of market because orders can be spoofed? To me, that's why I'll always have time and sales up next to the depth of market, because filled orders are what matters.
Correct.
So spoof all you want. I'm paying attention to the filled orders.
And that's why sometimes you could hear me, hey, Coach Jay, are these getting filled?
Right.
Or, hey, chat. I mean, I could see them, and then I could see, like, when they're chasing, and then I could make an assumption that it looked like they got filled. But if I don't have the time of sales, you'll have no idea, right? But sometimes my experience, now I'm not as great as you at reading the tape, Coach Jay, but I could kind of tell when there's an order serious about getting filled, and when they put it on, and then when they start chasing it versus it flashes, right? Or then it disappears.
Yeah, you can tell the difference. You'll see it in the price movement most of the time.
Like right there, there's 80. There's 50 at the ask. That one got filled. It looks like. And the 80 disappeared.
Yeah, this is. I think we're gonna have a great Friday. There's gonna
Don't jinx it,
be a
man. Don't jinx
ton of
it.
price action.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. I'm on for fast markets, I believe, with Mo, and we're gonna be doing the reversal challenge, me and you, tomorrow. I got
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, you're gonna be on there, and I am going to be joining. I gotta retake my title.
We got some questions. My time and sales are only showing ones and twos. Filter it, right? If you, the way I like to think about a time and sales filter is I want to filter out anyone who can do something that I can do, right? So if someone is consistent, I'm not going to consistently trade 6 lots in the NASDAQ. I might put it on as like one position, but if you see a burst of 30 contracts get filled, that's probably not going to be me. And I want to follow that person. So if you have it set to 1 lot, you're going to get every order that goes through. If Dakota trades a 1 lot right now, it's going to go through on time and sales in that live account. So I set my filter to 6 so we can see a little less information.
Did that 100 contracts get filled in the NASDAQ on that one?
It did not. No, it didn't.
Okay.
Not fully. They filled.
Not fully.
It looks like a partial fill. Yeah, they didn't fill the whole thing.
Okay, see it. So someone says, 27 color, Coach Dakota, why do you not use your live account in slow markets anymore? So I'm using my live account less in slow markets because one of two things. It's both, actually. Running a stream, I've been a lot more distracted. I've noticed I've been distracted. So when I'm trading my live account, two things have to happen. I have to be watching the markets. It has to be a good setup, and I can't be distracted. A lot of times and I think you guys have seen me this past few weeks. I've been in a live trade, either before or during or whatever. I still trade my live account. It's just I'm not going to be distracted. And then in price action like this, before a big event, the Bank of Japan decision, I'm not going to be in a trade. That's for sure in my live account. And that's basically it. The price action has to be good. The setup has to be good. And I'm not going to spend too much time sitting here forcing trades.
Right. Yeah. Got to be a clean setup, especially in that live account, right? Where you, like you said before, you can't just deposit a check if things go bad. So you need to trade the best price action.
Yep. Is there a way to put bid and ask buttons on Topstep X instead of market? I'm not sure what you mean by that one. When is the right decision? It depends. It depends on when they want to do it. I mean, we've seen you could take economic events. It says tentative. Tentative means basically whenever they feel like it, right? And ask around. I've seen many different answers, and that's why it's scary to be in the market, because you could just be sitting there and like any second it just moves. It depends.
I heard there was a new feature that Gabe was going to demo, but I missed it. Yeah, so the new feature is being able to lock your risk settings, the changes to your risk settings after you make them, right? So right now, or before the change, you could set your daily loss limit. But then what traders were doing was, when I get close to that daily loss limit, I'm just going to go in and change it again. So now you have the option to go in and lock the changes.
Nice.
So you can't make changes until the next session, which I think is really helpful. Use it.
That's one that I requested as well, Coach Jay, because
Nice.
There's a lot of traders that will come to me and they'll put these in and they'll hit them, or they'll come close and then they'll go in there and they'll adjust them.
Right. It's like, my daily loss limit is 800. Unless I'm at $750, then I'm going to push it up to 1,500.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like that defeats the purpose.
So I'm happy with that. Yeah, you guys can see it here. Lock out risk settings for the day. That is important. I think even more important, I like the trades, the max and min trades. You can't go through and adjust it.
Yep.
Man,
what do we do now?
We are not too far away from the session highs, and things are started to settle down. I'm not seeing too much of anything else. Nikkei
Nope.
is pushing the highs. We're at 40,320s. Yeah, 40,320s. Like these are big moves. Nikkei is the Japanese market. Obviously, we are seeing plenty of volatility as everyone's patiently waiting. I mean, the market's up 1%, right? Already before the news has even came out. This might be the news to push us through this major range in the Nikkei. You could see we've been range bound for quite a while now. And I mean, if there is an event, it would be this that could possibly break us through this consolidation. And Coach Shay, if he was watching one day, I was debating so much to buy this little wick down there at 38,200, and ended up not doing it. But now here we are at the other end, this other extreme end, and now begs that similar question: is if we continue to be in a range-bound market where these lows, and it's, buy the lows, sell the highs. This is a daily chart, so it's looking at an extreme bird's eye view. But yeah, that's what you do in a range-bound market. You buy low, sell high. Is this an opportunity to sell high here in the Nikkei? That is the question right
now. We're near all-time highs in the Nikkei,
right? All-time highs in the Nikkei is all the way up at 42,500. But okay. It wouldn't take much to get there if we break out. Nikkei can move 2-3% in a day.
Right.
A lot
We're
easy.
about 5%.
Yeah.
But I see what you're seeing on the daily, right? This has been a resistance on the daily for going back to October.
Correct. Yep. Since the end of September.
Yep.
So that's the question. We're in a decision zone, and it's kind of suiting that we're at a big decision zone right before this country's bank is making a rate decision, right? Bank of Japan. This is the Japanese market, so it's suiting. If we break through, then obviously we have some key levels that I'm going to be looking at, and that's going to be around this 41,230s. So almost $1,000 higher. And then again, right at this next level, you can see there's a little bit of consolidation here back in July. 41,700s. So 41,200s, 41,700s as the next levels. And maybe we even can honor something like this. I mean, at least 500 more than where we're at now.
Yeah. That looks like a perfect place to short right there. If we didn't have to get into a cheap short based on what the pattern has said on the daily, if we didn't have a huge rate decision coming out in a couple minutes.
I know, Coach. That's what I was thinking down here about buying it, where I was looking like we were running at stops. I'm like, we're at 38,200. This might be a run of stops, and we go back up to these highs. And you know what? It's always easier with hindsight. Maybe what we see tonight is maybe we do get a nice candle wick, and then we end up just sailing off, right? And then we go back and be like, man, that would have been, like you said, a beautiful area to short this market in the consolidation. But it's hard to do that when you have a rate decision coming out.
Yep. Juan Wick says interest hikes usually drop the market. I'm confused. So that's the thing, right? We saw the FOMC rate decision. I think it was October, right before the election, right, where the Fed cut rates, and the market or the Treasury market, right? If the Fed, let me make sure I get this right. Fed is cutting rates, prices should go up, and prices did the exact opposite, right? Where interest rate products fell for 3 months straight. Sometimes it's not about what should happen, and it's about how the market responds to what did happen, right? If they were expecting a 25 basis point cut and got 50, then things change. Or if they, were expecting the Bank of Japan to do more than what expected, then the market's going to trade around it. And that's why, I work with Coach Paul a lot. And he said, he went to school to be an economist, and he had to leave it alone because it didn't help him make any trading decisions, right? Because you develop an opinion based on logic, which is not wrong, about what should happen, and then the markets just do whatever the hell they want. So
Exactly.
we have to be traders, especially with day trading, right?
I thought I run into that all the time. Some of my worst trades are my opinion based,
Yep.
and I've done my best to leave my opinion out of these markets. So on Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday that night when Donald Trump was mentioned that the tariffs, and the NASDAQ sold like 1.5% during slow markets. When was that? That was, let me pull up an hourly chart. It was, I think, right there. Yeah, January 20th. So, and this market just sold off. It sold off, what is this? Like over like 350 points during my slow markets. And it was Donald Trump talking or tweeting or made a statement about tariffs. And I'm like,
Right.
wow, the fact that Donald Trump's talking about it and it's going to become a realization, this could be very negative impacting the market. Woke up the next day, the market's reversed that and made highs. So,
Right.
Market does not care about anyone's opinions. One could even argue it doesn't really matter whether the Bank of Japan, increases or decreases rates. Sometimes what matters is what they talk about in the statement, or who knows? Who really knows outside of Nancy Pelosi?
She knows everything. I wonder how she's positioned right now.
Maybe
Definitely
that
one
was
of
her.
one of those people buying 100 lots.
She,
Yeah.
she was in there.
Let's see, is gold still rallying? Yep, gold's still pushing.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think Hoag is very right on that thesis that he had.
Remind me of the thesis.
Heavy negative delta, right? So sellers coming into this market while prices keep pushing up, eventually they become buyers, right? Where all through that consolidation that we had in gold over the last couple of days, there's been sellers in this consolidation. If we look at the daily, kind of below that 2750 area, and price keeps pushing higher, right? So the same way we had that delta squeeze at the end of the day today, right, where the market was short but prices kept going up, he's just seeing that on a higher time frame.
Okay.
So short squeeze on a higher time frame.
Yeah, we are running into this little area of resistance here back in November 5th. This would be a technical short if we could get up here towards maybe 83. But I wouldn't short this because of the news, right? If I was going to short a market, this is a technical short. You can see back here, November 4th, November 5th, this was resistance. There is some nice support here on October 28th. Some nice resistance again. So this is a nice support resistance zone. And so if we're going to get a little bit of a pullback here in gold, this would be a decent area, a decent trade to short this for a pullback, but not ahead of a Bank of Japan decision, right?
Gold is up what, 2% right now?
Yeah.
No, just about a 0.5%. Silver's rallying also. Just about a 0.5%.
Interesting. Okay. I thought it would be. It looks up more than it really is. Then. The Nikkei looks juicy. Yeah. I mean, we all know why. Let me take a look. Maybe. Yeah. As I was talking about the short, we're getting a little bit of a pullback here in gold. $1, $2. Well, I think all the excitement came and gone, Coach Jay.
Yep, quiet before the storm, I think, right now. And again, that rate decision, we could wait for 10 minutes and see if they do it, but it could also be out in an hour, right? So you really don't know. But I think traders, if you're going to stay at your charts for the rest of the night, I don't think it's a bad idea, because something is going to move whenever they drop that news.
Right. there was a big movement for the first 30 minutes from what is it, 8 to 9 p.m. 8 to 9 p.m. there was, or 8 to 8:30 Central. That was the movements, and now things are kind of quiet. Maybe it's just everyone's now positioned, and now we all just quietly wait for the rates. I'm not seeing anything else coming out, unless all that was just from the Trump interview. I mean, that's a hard thing for me to. I mean, nothing's impossible, right? If all that was just coming out from the Trump interview, which it kind of, it kind of looks like it was, right? All of
While
this,
he was, yeah, while they were playing whatever pre-recorded, that's when we got that movement.
yeah.
Probably a combination of both.
Okay. If that was, there's a lot of orders coming and going through that one. Trenchcoat trader, coaches, why is it not good to short the Nikkei with a really tight stop? I am not going to have an open order going into a rate of a rate decision. So I've never said it's a bad idea for a trade. It's just the rate decision could come out at any moment, and having an open position through a rate decision is the bad idea, right? Technically, it might seem great, but the fact that there's a rate decision is the bad idea.
This is the equivalent of holding a position into FOMC.
This is worse than holding a position in FOMC because of the no liquidity, the low liquidity. I couldn't imagine holding a Nikkei trade into a Bank of Japan decision where you try and get filled and there's just no liquidity. You're getting slippage.
In a headline from CNBC, Japan core inflation climbs to 16-month high, boosting a case for rate hikes. Like we said earlier, this will be the biggest rate hike they had since 2017, looking at 0.5%.
Since 2017?
Will be interesting. Since 2017, yep.
Doesn't feel like that's too long ago. 2017 was just last year. Feels like it.
Almost 10 years ago now, which is pretty crazy.
When you were signing your name and date on the back of like a human book in high school or something, checking out from the library.
Yeah.
I had a high school friend send me a picture of an old book with my name in it and the date. Like way back. It was like 2009. And then all the kids who checked out the book and all that is a huge list.
Oh, my friend had this book.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I think that's about it. I mean, you joined right when there was a lot of craziness, and yeah, how's that for some volatility? It still doesn't match the volatility that we got at the end of July, beginning of August, when we were seeing 100-point swings every 20 minutes. That was absolutely insane. Like the market was really these moves were 100 points. This was probably a 200-point move. Like that was the type of volatility we were seeing in August, and we might see that tonight. Odds are it's that rate decision. We could definitely see some big moves going into tonight during the London session, and like you said, Coach Jay, could be a very, very interesting day tomorrow, and hopefully there's some great volatility. Hopefully the markets are a lot more consistent, better at least than the price action we've seen today. Someone's asking me why the NASDAQ is so crazy and choppy. Look at this on the 5-minute chart. That was not fun to trade. I'm happy I stayed out of the market during fast markets during the New York session until later on the afternoon and into power hour, where it was a little bit cleaner. But this price action, horrible for me. price action that we're seeing tonight, when there is volatility, it's starting to look a little bit decent. I hope we get some more tomorrow. Anything else, Coach Jay, that you want to add before we end it here?
But nothing else. If you're going to continue to trade tonight, I think wait for that rate decision to drop. Trade the dust after the dust settles. Trade from there. Trade well, manage your risk. See you all tomorrow, and see you tomorrow, Dakota, for the reversal challenge.
Yeah, reversal challenge. It's going to be a good one. It's always fun. All right, everybody, take care, and I will see everybody bright and early tomorrow in the morning, if not tomorrow afternoon or Sunday night. Take care.